Videos, as we always do. Today, Trump pulls off the impossible, secures a ceasefire from Ukraine as Zelensky bows to U.S. demands. If you had seen the interview that they had had at the White House, where Zelensky basically got kicked off, told to kick rocks, and had to go on an apology tour almost. Now we are going to talk about how Zelensky responded to that and what the benefit of that really is going to be.
Donald Trump has just pulled off what many have tried and failed to do. Yes, Donald Trump and his team have convinced President Zelensky and Ukraine to agree to a ceasefire in the war against Russia.
But very importantly, and I said it, Ukraine, ceasefire. Ukraine, ceasefire. Just agreed to a little while ago. Now we have to go to Russia.
I love the cyber truck, cyberpunk. Like, what is his deal, man? Look at that hat. He's in all black. Look, his son is just right there in all black. This is the real president of the United States. What do you think, guys? I mean, don't you think that little Elon Musk Jr., Elon Trump Jr. here, he's basically just told the president to F off multiple times. So that was pretty nice.
And hopefully President
He's kind of on our team.
Agree to that also, and we can get this show on the road. We can get this horrible war where 2,000-3,000 soldiers a week, every week, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 sometimes. I get the reports. And they're not American soldiers. They're Ukrainian and they're Russian. But people are being killed outside of that. People are being killed in the cities as things explode throughout the cities. And we want to get that war over with. So I think it's a big difference between the last visit you saw at the Oval Office and this. So that's a total ceasefire. Ukraine has agreed to it, and hopefully Russia will agree to it. We're going to meet with them later on today and tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to wipe out a deal. But I think the ceasefire is very...
Oh, yeah, they're going to agree to it. First of all, Ukraine is having an issue with funding. I guess Europe decided that they didn't want to meet that 2% requirement, most of the countries, but they'll definitely spend more money helping Ukraine now that Trump's backed out of providing financial support to it. And tanks and all these other weapons that we don't ever really use, that are archaic to us, going on the battlefield to them. I'm not exactly sure what we sent over there to them other than money, but I will tell you that it is pretty nice to see that the Europeans are trying to contribute to this. If there is a ceasefire, then that's the one step closer to having a peaceful environment over there in Eastern Europe. And I don't know if Putin will agree to it. It seems like anytime someone's willing to show a little bit of humility and some kind of weakness, that Putin kind of excels at pouncing on that. So I guess we'll see if Putin wants to agree to the ceasefire, but he is kind of friendly with Donald Trump. So maybe that was the tactic all along, was to get Putin to the table and put pressure on Zelensky. So he might be able to pull it off. He might be able to make this happen. What do you guys think about that?
Very important. If we can get Russia to do it, that'll be great. If we can't, we just keep going on and people are going to get killed. Lots of people.
Marco Rubio is at the coalface in Saudi Arabia negotiating the deal with Ukraine, and he confirmed the ceasefire.
Today, we
oh
made
my
an
goodness,
offer that
so it
the
happened.
Ukrainians have accepted, which is to enter into a ceasefire and into immediate
Ukraine did
negotiations to end this conflict in a way that's
So Russia
enduring
still
and
has to
sustainable
accept and
and
agree,
accounts
right?
for their interests, their security, their ability to prosper as a nation. I want to personally we both want to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Majesty, for hosting us, for making this possible. They've been instrumental in this process, and we're very grateful to them for hosting us here today. And hopefully we'll
What
take
did the
this offer
Saudis
now
get
to the
out of it,
Russians.
you think?
And we hope that they'll say yes, to peace. The ball is now in their court. And but again, the president's objective here is
it
number
opens the
one,
door, at
above
least,
everything
right?
else. He wants the war to end, and I think today Ukraine has taken a concrete step in that regard. We hope the Russians will reciprocate.
President Zelensky also weighed in, this time expressing a much more cordial attitude towards Donald
You know
Trump
that those
and
maps
the team.
don't have anything on them, and that he's doing it just for the video, because there's no way that they would allow the maps to be seen publicly. It's not going to happen, right?
Brokering the ceasefire, maintaining he wants peace with Russia.
В розмові була пропозиція саме американської сторони зробити перший крок одразу далі. і на 30 днів спробувати встановити повне припинення вогню. Не тільки щодо ракет, дронів і бомб, не тільки у Чорному морі, а також по всій лінії фронту.
Oh, wow.
Україна сприймає цю пропозицію. Ми вважаємо це позитивним. Ми готові зробити такий
You could
крок.
see it as a point of
Сполучені
weakness and
Штати
pounce on it,
Америки
though, right?
мають переконати Росію зробити це. Тобто ми погоджуємось, і якщо русські погодяться, в той самий момент тиша запрацює. Важливим елементом розмови сьогодні є готовність.
Online commentators applauded the step forward towards peace, with this person saying, President Trump did the impossible. He just secured a ceasefire agreement with Ukraine. President Trump deserves an apology from every liberal and fake news reporter. We
Wouldn't go
did
that
it.
far.
This commentator agrees, saying Trump should be in the running for a Nobel Peace Prize. Ukraine has
people have
agreed
gotten
to
it
a
for
30-day
Stranger
ceasefire.
Things.
Incredible work by Trump team.
I wonder what the strangest
Now with-
thing that anybody's gotten a Nobel Peace Prize for. If you know, put it in the comments. I'd like to know.
Russia agrees Trump
I don't
may
know
have
much about
gotten
that.
ceasefires in the Middle East and Europe in his first 60 days. Nobel Peace Prize worthy. But not everyone is so sure. This commentator slams Zelensky for trying to dictate the terms of ceasefire to Russia. He said, in what military college do they teach that the collapsed army on the run, like Ukraine in Kursk, gets to dictate ceasefire terms? Maybe that's what they teach in West Point, but Russian academics have a different curriculum. Ukraine has one choice. It's called surrender.
But what would a surrender look like if they have to get rid of a lot of their territory and concede that to Russia? Are they going to be willing to accept that? I mean, sure, it's a step forward, but I don't think that it's going to actually end up ending the war because there's so much at stake, and both sides are really. If I was Ukraine, like if I had a house and somebody started trying to take over my backyard, and then we were fighting for however long we were fighting, I don't think that I would be cool with conceding to them anyways, even to stop the bleeding and the damage. Is what's to stop them from trying again and getting closer and closer. But also, because they've already done that. But also, what's to stop somebody else from trying to take my territory as well?
Independent journalist Carl Becker agrees, saying Zelensky is not interested in peace as drone attacks on Moscow continued throughout the night. He said Ukraine President Zelensky ordered a drone attack on Moscow overnight. Hundreds of drones attacked the capital, killing 3 people and injuring 18 more civilians. Ukraine is clearly not
a great
interested
start.
in peace.
Not a great start to a peaceful conceding.
Salutations, everybody. It is Matt.
That was interesting, right? Because, I mean, it doesn't seem like Zelensky really cares all that much of whether or not he screws people over. He really doesn't seem to care at all. He's sending drones still. They're bombing Moscow. Doesn't seem like much of a ceasefire. I wonder if it's just all kind of like a ploy for attention. I don't know. You tell me.